Hey, wonderful, wonderful people out there in live land. Hey, it's Russ with the Pirate Broadcast. Welcome to the show. We're going to be having a great time. We're going to be Craig talking about some strategy, maybe a few burritos, maybe some culture, throw in there a little bit here and there. So join us, jump in, ask questions, get involved, engage, connect with each other, and have a great day. Because you know why. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. So let's get it started. All right? Boom. Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. Welcome to the party. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm a pirate. Yay.
So we're in the morning over here. I'm hanging out, and it's not quite light, and you're in the afternoon, and having a great time in the cloudy weather there. So Craig, welcome to the party. Thank you so much for being here, and happy Thursday.
Thank you very much. I've been waiting on becoming a pirate for months now. What's kept you, my man? What's kept you?
It's a blast, and the pirate community has been a great community to hang out and grow in. A lot of connections have been made, and we're just really excited about hearing about your story and some of the things that you can do with business. And we're hanging out on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, all the major channels here. So happy to have you. For those that may not know you, though, share with us your kind of what you're focused in right now, because I know you talk about some strategy and also culture in business. So what brings you joy and what lights you up in the day?
All right, that's a very big question. Where I am is I launched Different Mindset, my business consultancy, at the start of 2020. I could have timed it better for sure. But it's based on experience that I've picked up in 35 years working in a business environment, in a senior position, either as a senior manager or director. And it's about using that experience to coach small and medium businesses, specifically IT businesses, which is where I've spent 25 years, into business improvement and business growth effectively. So it's a big market, and it's a market that I know inside out, which is a kind of comfort zone for me, if you will. And yes, you're right. I do spend a lot of time talking about strategies, but culture is my big major. It's I think it was Warren Buffett that once said that culture eats strategy for breakfast, and I tend to agree with him. I think culture is everything. It's how you appear, how you behave, and how people become or learn to know your business and your people.
There's a huge gap in a lot of companies that survive and companies that thrive, and a lot of the difference. The only difference is culture, and it's having employees and having everybody moving in the same direction and understanding that, hey, we're here to grow, we're here to evolve, we're here to expand, and everybody's on the same page. So how do you cultivate culture in a business, Craig?
I don't know how other people do it. The way I do it is, and I'm often shocked at the number of small and medium businesses I encounter who don't have business core values in place. And some of the ones that do have them in place are businesses who have hired typically an HR consultancy to come in and write their core values for them, which are meaningless. They tend to be things like trustworthy and reliable. And quite honestly, if you have to tell someone you're trustworthy, then the only question I would be thinking is that you're not. So getting core values right they must come from the business owners or the business leaders' hearts. It's what they're passionate about, it's what they feel, it's what they want to achieve with their business, what they want to achieve for their lives, what they want to achieve for their employees' lives.
Mm.
And once you have that in place and you indoctrinate that across your teams, then that is what creates a culture. And if you've got a culture that without core values, then the only thing I could probably guarantee is it's not the culture that you wanted because you haven't influenced it. It's typically you'll find in businesses like that the culture is one that's kind of evolved due to the stronger members of the team or the louder members of the team. It's almost certainly never the business owner's intended culture because you can only do that through the proper implementation of core values.
That's interesting that you bring that up because that to me speaks volumes of the leadership in an organization. And even if you may not have created the company, you may not be the original owner of the company because, mergers and acquisitions and things like
Yeah.
that. I still think it's important that everybody own the vision and to set the vision at the top. It's like, where are we headed? Where are we going? What's our commitment to the community? And I think that's what's important in creating that feeling of ownership.
Mm.
How there's enthusiasm involved in that. Is that something that you can cultivate or almost influence as as somebody buys a company or leadership changes or people move, retire, things like that?
The short answer to your question is yes, but it has to be the owner or the owners first have to actually want to make that change,
Yeah.
to adopt or to create that culture. Uh, and again, even someone that's bought a business or that's a takeover, if they inherit someone else's culture, then it's easy to change it to the culture that you want by introducing, for the first time, core values or replacing the existing core values with values that reflect your passions and your loves and your goals. And if you do that, then the culture will follow suit. And culture is a really powerful. Businesses don't realize just how powerful culture is. It's how people perceive you. It's how your clients perceive you, your vendors, your suppliers, how they perceive you and what they think of you, and what they think of working with you. It's a powerful, powerful thing, and I just wish more small businesses would buy into it
Yeah.
and really just try to get it. Most of them don't get it, and I don't mean that in a derogatory manner, but a lot of people that I speak to, they want to get it, but they're not prepared to invest the time to get it, and because it
Yeah.
is time consuming, obviously.
Yeah. And it's really, as a small business owner myself, I'm working with a lot of different people, and as you grow, sometimes you're thinking about 10,000 things. You got all kinds of decisions during the course of the day. And that's one thing that sometimes could feel, and I'm not speaking for anyone else but myself. It's like, okay, how do I spend time to do that? How do I spend time to really sit back and reflect on, because my mission in the Pirate Syndicate and my life general is I want to help more people.
Yeah,
My theme is kindness is cool and smiles are free, and there's a reason for that. It's like do good, have fun, enjoy life, and help as many people as you can get to where they're going. And to me, that's pretty simple. However, unless you actually take that and put it into some sort of an action plan or continue to share it, that doesn't get populated out to the people you're working with.
no, and if it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
True.
That's a fact. It's not easy, and I don't profess that I'm going to make it any easier. But the fact is that it gets easier. Yes, it
Mm.
requires a time investment initially, and it requires people within a leadership team of a business or the owner of a business to actually have a real drive to want to take it forward. For instance, most businesses I speak to have a desire to grow, and it's extremely difficult for any business to grow, but it's especially difficult for them if they don't have the right culture in place first. So culture influences all of these things, and it doesn't happen. Uh, you don't get the culture you want unless you invest time in it. That's, I think, the easiest way to explain it.
Yeah, it's not like you could print out a flyer and send it out to the employees. They all
No,
everybody has it. Hey, I
no.
want to give a shout out to JC's in the room. He's joining us today. Good morning, pirate community. Joe's here. He has an amazing community he's building around caffeinated water, and he's done some creative stuff. So if you're not connected with Joseph, go connect with him. Elizabeth, I love Culture Eats Strategy. Absolutely. And good morning from Dallas, Texas. Elizabeth's going to be on later on the Pirate Syndicate. We're producing a show for Elizabeth on the um, it's Wild West Diversity, and she's done a show. She's been involved in Cowboys of Color rodeo for 30 years, and it'll be interesting to see if we can carry it through to the next generation. I would love to know that answer. Alex is here. Alex, I saw your email. I'll have to tell you a story about the pirates and how the pirate syndicate and the pirate broadcast came to be. Real short story is that if you're not broadcasting with a license in radio, you're considered a pirate broadcaster. So there's a tie-in with that. And also, pirates don't always follow the rules exactly like everyone else does. So that's the short story of why the pirates exist right now. So I just want to be able to share that with Alex. She and I had a conversation the other day. So connect with her. She's doing some great work online and helping nurses with their process as well. Uh, so on this culture and strategy, how where's the intersection of culture and strategy, Craig?
I think when the culture's in place and when the business owner knows that it's their culture that's in place, then there's a comfort that comes from that. And typically, I get involved in helping a business to create a culture and core values, etc., because they have a plan to grow. And the plan to grow typically comes from a strategy. So you put a strategy in place that will lay out the process of how you intend to grow, what your staffing requirements are going to be, what your budget is going to be, what your marketing is going to be, who your ideal customer avatar might be, and so on and so on and so on, and also look at your clients.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of IT companies have this desire to grow, but they forget to look at their competitors. What are your competitors doing? Are they struggling? Or are they growing faster than you? How are they doing it? And what are your clients doing? Are your clients likely to want to grow with you? Or is it possible that some of your clients that might have been larger clients originally are going to become smaller and less valuable clients as your business grows? How are you going to manage that? How are you going to nurture that? How are you going to uh, handle that?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think culture first and then strategy to develop what you want to do. I get very fed up of the number of strategies that I've written for businesses over the years that get put into a drawer and never looked at again.
Mm-hmm.
And company business plans are exactly the same. I've written business plans for businesses and they've sat in a managing director's drawer and never been looked at. So, I think that's where Warren Buffett was coming from. And one of
Yeah.
your visitors quoted that very same quote about strategy, eating culture for breakfast. And it's true. If the strategy's there, then everything else can flow from it. Because, and touching back on what you mentioned at the start, once your once your core values and your culture are in place, one thing that you can guarantee is that everybody on your team, from the very lowest part-time worker to your co-directors, are all pulling and rowing in the same direction. And that's the power of getting these things right first. And from there, strategy becomes pretty easy, really, pretty straightforward.
Well, if you have a healthy culture and everybody understands where they're going, what they're doing, and why they're participating in this environment, strategy will work itself out.
Yeah, of
it'll,
course.
it'll just evolve. It'll really be a symptom of a healthy culture. That's the way I
Yeah.
look at it. Are there any companies right now that you look at as a North Star for, what is going on in the world? They seem to really be grounded in their culture. They know exactly what's going on. They know how to communicate it. They know how to articulate it internally and externally. Do you see any companies that are really doing it
Yeah.
extremely well?
Yes, I do. Two in particular. And one of them's not that far from you. They're in Arkansas.
Mm,
And they're an IT company, a managed IT services company
mhm,
called PCA Technologies. It's owned by a husband and wife team called Ted and Stephanie Clouser,
mm,
and they're on a different planet. And again, fit right in with the pirate broadcast theory of sharing the love and the kindness. They're the most beautiful people I think I've ever met. So, and they set the world on fire as far as getting their business right is concerned.
mm,
And the other one is a newer one that's run by a couple of stalwarts from the technology industry, and they're an American company called Augment Technology, Augment with two T's,
mm,
and they're a software development company. They've been going for about 2 years, but the people that own it had a business called Enable some years ago, which they sold to one of the giants in the IT industry, and they've now regrouped and created Augment with this new software that's a fantastic tool. And but their attitude and their culture and their the way that they visibly care about their employees is
mm.
magical. It's real great to see it, and I'm very proud to know these guys.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'll have to check those. I have to check them out because it's really nice to be able to see a model and then just understand, okay, what are they doing? How are they doing it? How can I improve
Yeah,
my ability to serve others through some other example? It's really, really great. Another one that's really doing a great job out there is Russ Hedge. Now, Russ, I think Russ, maybe you could drop the show in. We got a show today with Gabe, and a few people are going to be talking about some things this afternoon. So it'd be really great to have you drop that in there, Russ. I can see definitely have to get working on my beard. Yes, yes, Joseph. Funny, Russ. I'm bringing it back after this show. Oh, fantastic! Thank you so much. I really, Elizabeth says, uh, Elizabeth, maybe you could bring in. Oh yeah, Alex said, "Thanks, Russ. Appreciate it." Hey, family from Ohio. Yes, uh, Elizabeth, you could drop in the comment or in the comments the link to the show today as well. I'd love to have you do that if you could. Yes, 4 p.m. PST. Yes. So yeah, we're gonna be there. Drop a link, Russ. Let's share it out with the Pirates today. Uh, Craig, I want to kind of shift gears and think about what brought you to this place in your life. Did you start out early in business thinking about this, or was this an evolution that just kind of took took its own shape and kind of evolved in the process, or what's your backstory on how you got to this place?
I'll start my backstory when I worked in the private medical insurance sector,
Mm,
uh, going back many years ago. I worked with a company called PPP, who are, I don't know if you're familiar with Bupa in the US, but Bupa are a major organisation in the UK, and
mm.
PPP are very similar.
Okay.
Uh, at the time I worked with them was the 1980s. They were the sales training. I was what they called a regional director, so I managed the whole of the country of Scotland and parts of North England, Northern Ireland, and Isle of Man. I mean, it's a very small area compared to what you guys have in the States.
Mm-hmm.
But for someone here, it's a massive geographic area. So I managed that for them. But the benefit was that they had at that time what was widely recognised as the best sales training in the world. And it was based on a process called structured selling, which was all about building relationships and maintaining exceptional communication levels with your prospective customers and existing customers.
Mm.
And and I worked with them for about 12 years or so. And during that time, as with all methodologies, whether it's sales or something else, you start to learn it to the extent that you use and put your own personality onto it.
Yeah.
And the key thing about this particular method of selling was it was completely imperceptible, almost oblivious to anyone that was part of it. Uh, and it worked on a process called 5 bums and a rugby goal. Now, you might not have heard that again in the US, but the 5 bums, think of them like the curly letter W's that look
Uh-huh.
like a posterior. Uh, and then the rugby goal is like an American football goal. It's like an H shape. And it was just a, a method of remembering when you're selling to use open questioning techniques. So the 5 bums were who, what, why, where, when, and the H was how. So by using these questioning techniques, you were able to gather as much information as you could. And of course, as I became expert in this methodology, I'm also from a background of serious competitive martial arts, and
Okay.
uh, I was a big fan of the late great Bruce Lee. And I don't know if you've ever seen his movie Enter the Dragon,
Uh-huh.
but in Enter the Dragon, he's with a number of fighters that are heading across the ocean to the evil Mr. Han's island for a tournament. And there's a bully on the boat, and he comes up to our hero Bruce Lee and asks him, "What is your style?" And Bruce Lee replies by saying, "My style is the art of fighting without fighting." And of course, so because of my passion for martial arts and Bruce Lee, and my new passion for this invisible method of selling that I'd developed and learned, I created my own style of selling, and I called it the art of selling without selling. And that's where it came from. So I wrote a kind of almost half a book on this long before the days of the internet and LinkedIn. But then about 7 or 8 years ago, I created it as an article and I posted it on my LinkedIn profile, and it's had quite a few questions and hits since then. But effectively, by using the 5 bums in a rugby goal process,
Uh-huh.
then when I first interact with a potential client, by asking an open question about where they see themselves heading and where they see their business heading, then they almost immediately start to walk down a path that they've chosen. And from there, all I do is I keep asking open questions, and I stay one step in front of them. And as they're walking down this dark path, I can flick a street light on just so as they can see where they're going effectively. And I keep doing that until they get down to the bottom of the path to the destination that they've chosen. And they know when they've got there that I haven't influenced that in any way, shape, or form. All I've done is had a conversation with them, and they've
Yeah.
given me all this information, and they've taken me to where they want to be. And it's so that's where I came from, and I've developed that over the years. And then about 27 or so years ago, I got the opportunity to join uh, uh, the technology sector in IT, which I've been trying to get into for years before that. So eventually got an introduction and got a break. And I worked in IT right up until 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And the company I was working with, I was one of four of the senior leadership team within that company. And I had kind of pretty much done what they got me in to do within the first year and a half. And here I was 3 years in and not really doing what I was brought in to do. So we had the ultimate conversation about me exiting the business, and they gave me a very nice package to manage me out of the business, and it didn't happen right away. We took time to make sure everything else was in place, so it was great. And it was at that stage, or during that process, that I thought, I've built up all of this experience and expertise over 36 or 37 years or so, that I want to see if I can do something for myself
Mm-hmm.
that I can share with other businesses, rather than working for a business and giving them all the experience. Let me share it with a number of businesses and see how many I can help.
Start giving it back. Yeah.
Well, that's well, I'm sure you know already that we have a lot of mutual friends, and they're all of the exact same thinking as you and I, and that is, make people happy by helping them as much as you possibly can, and and you will be fulfilled if you can, pay it forward to others. Then you will always be fulfilled, and I believe that that's a great doctrine to work by.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Looks like we have a few Bruce Lee fans in the audience too. Bruce Lee for life.
Yay!
Enter the dragon. Yes, Bruce Lee. JC says questioning techniques are more effective. And Liz says, yes, I love it. Alex asks, five bums?
Of course, bums across in the US are entirely different. Uh,
Yes. Yes.
but it doesn't sound the same when I say five asses.
Yeah. True story. It's interesting that you would discover and develop from a technique that has the same questions in, because you were in the insurance business originally, correct?
Yes.
So I was a safety director at one point in time, and those are the same questions that you have in an accident report.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, it's like, okay, well, let's find out what the facts are. Let's
Yeah.
discover what it is, what the process is. So it's the same process, but it's turned into a different outcome because you're asking individuals in a way to discover their own outcome, right? Open-ended questions.
Of course, that's the in pure selling, they tell you that open questions are there to gather information, closed questions are there to get a decision.
Yeah.
So a closed question is one that you can answer yes or no. So when you want a decision, you're ready to move forward on that, right? Yeah. Fine. Then we go. So the purpose of gathering information is especially for people like you and I consider myself a people enthusiast. So I love listening to people telling me about themselves, about their work, about their business, what their aims are, what they want to do. And it's a very natural progression for someone like me to become a business consultant, because all I want to do is listen to you telling me what your goals are. And once I know that, then I know what I can start to talk to you about so that I can help you so far as possible. And so yeah, I think, and your listeners have hit the nail on the head with their questions, and the Bruce Lee lovers. More power to them. More power to them.
Well, Alex likes all bums anyway. So,
Good man.
and Daniel Hall says, selling without selling is priceless. I love
Well,
it.
I'll be happy if you're able to share it out with the guys. I'll send you the link to the original article I wrote on that so that you can
Yeah.
share it out with the pirates if that's.
Yeah, let's share it out with the pirates. Let's share it out with the community. I love it.
Yeah.
So, Craig, this has been a great conversation. I think that you and I could probably talk for a few more hours and still have things to discover along the way. But I just recognize that we all have a gift. We all have a message. We all have something we can contribute to others. And if you have an opportunity to do so, let's do that. Let's make sure that Jordan is here saying, hey, I just want to highlight the pirates and thank you everyone for being here, joining us. Those that are listening on the podcast or in the future reviewing this, connect with Craig. Let him know that you're a pirate. Reach out, personalize the message. And where do you like to have people connect with you, Craig?
The only social medium I use fully is LinkedIn. So,
okay.
And I'm very easy to find on LinkedIn.
Yeah. We'll track you down.
Yeah, and I would welcome contacts from all of the pirates at any time. So
fantastic. So you heard it here first. Go introduce yourself and welcome him into the pirate community. Because you know why? Kindness is cool. Smiles are free. And we want you to enjoy your day. Thank you so much, Craig, for being here.
Thank you very much.
Until next time, you guys, everyone, have a wonderful, have a fantastic Friday and a wonderful weekend. We'll see you next week. Take care. Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about,